It's difficult to point out one reason why the Syracuse women's lacrosse team is having such an incredible season. Is it the prolific goal scoring of Emily Harrischuk?
Charging, rips a shot, Syracuse wins! A goal from Emily Harrischuk, her 4th of the afternoon, and Syracuse beats number 5 Northwestern 15-14.
Or possibly the heroic saves of Asa Goldstock?
In front for Lynch, and once again Goldstock makes the save. Asa Goldstock cannot be penetrated in this second half.
Harrischuk and Goldstock have definitely had a say in leading SU to a number 3 ranking, but perhaps the most awe-inspiring member of the Orange is the one who won't even play a single minute. Madeline Hartwick is a 5-year-old girl living in Liverpool, New York. Like most 5-year-olds, Maddie likes to laugh and have fun. What distinguishes Maddie from others, though, is the fact that she has cerebral palsy, a condition that leaves her in a wheelchair with limited ability in her arms and legs. Through the charitable organization Team Impact, Maddie was matched up with the Syracuse women's lacrosse team. Before the season began, a special ceremony was held to welcome her to the team. Maddie signed her official letter of intent and received a jersey and locker with her own name on it. Her father, David, says the whole process has been unbelievable for his family.
Maddie had a really difficult beginning to her life, and so there were some moments where it was hard to imagine moments like this. And so for us, it's very rewarding. We're very grateful. We give God thanks for her life, for who she is, and for how people respond to her. And the university, the team, they've really opened up their hearts to Madeline, and as her dad, and I speak for her mom also on this, I know it means a lot to us.
It also means a lot to Maddie's new teammates. One of them is senior midfielder Julie Cross, who spearheaded the campaign to get Maddie on the team.
So I reached out to the team, kind of just got a feel of if they thought this was a good idea, if this was something we wanted to commit to, and obviously we were all ecstatic to get out there. And then I think when I told them about Maddie, I think we had a couple girls cry, you know? It's just like a cool experience. We don't really get out into the community as much as we should, so to have Maddie and her family come to us and kind of, it's just been awesome. I'm pretty sure maybe 5 or 6 girls were crying the first time she walked into the locker room because she's so adorable and cute. So it's just been an awesome experience. I think that I've seen a lot of girls' personalities and stuff come out too, and Maddie's here.
Assistant coach Caitlin DeFelice sees Maddie as a way to ground the Orange.
It really, I think the great part about it is that it's, you know, it makes you think about, you know, the bigger picture of what you're doing and why you're doing it. You know, I think it just is another way for our girls to kind of recognize the community that they're part of and be able to really give back and do something more than just play lacrosse.
Ultimately, David wants everyone to recognize that Maddie's life is worth just as much as any other.
We're so thankful for Madeline, who will be 5 in February. When she came into our life, it was hard to imagine moments like this, and so we just give thanks. And Madeline's a constant reminder to us that every human being, every person, every life has inherent dignity, value, and worth. And for us today, it's not about giving her those things, it's about recognizing that she already has them. So go Maddie, go Orange!
Max Chadwick, Z89 Sports.
Get your voice heard. 315-443-2011. It's the double overtime, and it starts right now.
We got breaking news, hot off the presses here on the double overtime. Duke is more than just Zion Williamson. The Orange splits the season series with the Blue Devils and falls to top-ranked Duke tonight. Welcome into the double overtime. Max Schuck alongside Cooper Boardman. Phone number to call is 315-443-2011. Later on, I'm going to hear from Coach Boeheim in his post-game press conference. We'll get our reporter Owen Valentine on as well. But first, Cooper, we have to start with the Robin to Zion's Batman, and that was R.J. Barrett, who is
You're calling R.J. Barrett the number 2 pick in the draft,
well,
Robin.
Listen, he's a sidekick to Zion Williamson, who's the best player in the country, probably the number 1 pick in the draft right now. But yes, you're right. RJ Barrett, arguably one of the top 3 players in the country, and he showed it tonight. I mean, he was outstanding for the Blue Devils.
Look, Duke opens this game 1 for 7 from 3. They looked as bad from beyond the arc and shooting from outside the paint as they did in the first matchup with Syracuse. And then by the time, with about 3 minutes to go or so in the first half, Barrett had knocked down 6 shots from the field, 6 for 9. The rest of the team was 4 for 17. He single-handedly kept them in this game in the first half, and in the second half, he, along with everybody else, did just enough to pick up the victory.
Absolutely. 315-443-2011. I know you guys have a lot of hot takes that you want to get here on the double overtime. Want to hear all of them, so make sure you call our number at 315-443-2011. But Cooper, it really was the RJ Barrett show. And I mean, coming into this game, the big news was all about Zion Williamson being out of this game. And RJ Barrett was kind of the forgotten guy. And it's incredible to hear that, because RJ Barrett was a guy who has been the top recruit always coming out of high school. It wasn't Zion Williamson. Zion Williamson was only the 5th best recruit coming out of high school. Barrett was always number 1. Barrett was the guy coming into this year. NBA scouts have been salivating over him for the last few years. And it's kind of interesting now where Zion Williamson has taken over college basketball, and RJ Barrett has kind of been not forgotten, because like I said, he's still one of the top 3 players in the country, but he's still kind of like I said, the Robin to the Batman, and he's really hasn't been the guy who Duke has relied on as much as we thought they would, but he showed that he can be a franchise cornerstone for Duke.
What he was able to do, and I said he kept him in this game in the first half especially, it was his efficiency, because there was nobody else on the court for Duke in the first half that could do anything in terms of efficiency. He finishes this game, and you look at this box score, 14 for 20 from the field. That is 70% if you're scoring at home from the field. He was excellent and knocks down a couple 3-pointers as well. You go back to that first meeting, he puts up 20-plus points, but he shoots, he's 8 for 30 from the field in that one. He's only at, 26, 27%. That jump from that first game to this game is the difference in this game.
Absolutely. 30 points for RJ Barrett tonight. 315-443-2011 is phone number to call. We got Gus from Syracuse on right now. Gus, what do you got?
I'm not happy, but I think that for a crowd of almost 37,000 people, it seems subdued to me, considering the circumstances. And I think that the coach may have made a mistake and sat this one out. And out of respect for the victim, and I think that it was really there was a resonance to it that I think that he should have sat this one out. Okay, now listen. He was out coached tonight, and it's not the first time. Where's your kid? Where is your kid? Where's Buddy? I mean, you needed a spark.
Yeah.
And he doesn't play the kid. Mm-hmm. Okay, all right. Howard and they're discombobulated on offense. There's no cohesion at all. And I just think that okay, listen, they got 4 games left, or maybe with an ACC game they'll squeeze in. But I was disappointed. I was, speaking for the community, I was disappointed that he was even there.
Yeah.
I mean, and I really mean that. And
Gus,
but you listen. He should have played his kid. You need a spark.
You said that he was out-coached. To be fair, though, he was coaching against Mike Krzyzewski, who's arguably the best coach in college basketball.
Yeah, and look, here's the thing. Gus, again, thank you for the call. Appreciate it. And yes, I understand what you're saying, that you thought he was out-coached tonight, and Duke did a really good job putting together a game plan. Duke was the better team in this game because they have better players, and I think people needed to understand that coming into this one.
It's not just Zion Williamson.
It is not just Zion Williamson. Syracuse got outplayed tonight by the second-best player in the country, RJ Barrett, and at the end of the day, that's kind of what it was. And the second portion of that is, look, Jim Boeheim can coach all he wants. When your team goes 1 for 11 from 3 in the second half, it doesn't matter. And that's what ended up happening in this one. Syracuse's shots didn't go down. You don't put points on the scoreboard, you're going to lose the game.
Absolutely. And, I mean, it wasn't just RJ Barrett tonight who scored for Duke. He had 30 points. Alex O'Connell, a guy who's averaging 4 points per game for the Blue Devils, puts up 25 times that tonight in the win for Duke. 50 of the 75 points came just from 2 players. And if you told me that before the game, I would have said, okay, RJ Barrett and Cam Reddish go off. No, it was RJ Barrett and Alex O'Connell. Cam Reddish finished with a measly 5 points on 2 of 11 shooting tonight for Duke. And so it really was RJ Barrett and Alex O'Connell just carrying Duke to the victory, and Syracuse couldn't do anything to stop them.
Yeah, no one else was efficient. That was the thing. I mean, Trey Jones had 11 points, but it was on 2 of 12 shooting. Duke was not good offensively. It was Syracuse's lack of ability to put the ball in the bottom of the bucket in the second half that we saw. And we had you saw Tyus Battle, 4 for 17 from the field. The guys who stepped up were big. Marek Dolezaj, Pascal Chukwu, even O'Shea Brissett towards the tail end there. But when O'Shea Brissett, Tyus Battle don't play the way that they can play, this team has no chance of winning, and I think that's what we saw tonight.
Yeah, we're going to hit that into that in a later segment because Tyus Battle was almost invisible on the court for Syracuse tonight, and it really was just Syracuse struggling to find any sort of offense. The Syracuse defense was outstanding in the first half, but in the second half, Duke just showed why they're one of the top offenses in the country. 315-443-2011. We got David from Syracuse who wants to talk about the crowd. David, what do you got for us?
I just want to say the crowd with 1:20 to go, they were leaving. Leaving. It's ridiculous. The stuff that we had to go through, the extra adversity we had to go through with the whole incident with Jim Boeheim is ridiculous. You guys got to stay in your seats till the final buzzer, in my opinion. I know there's people that are going to say they want to beat the crowd, but this is Syracuse. You need to plan accordingly when they're playing Duke. You need to know about this.
David, I understand you're angry, and I completely understand that. You can't fault the crowd. 35,642 people showed up to this game. There were students that were camping outside for a full week to come to this game. There were people waiting in line for hours to get tickets to this game.
Yes.
People who did quite literally everything they could possibly do to come to this game. You cannot possibly come at the crowd for not being there towards the end of a double-digit game.
But I've got to somewhat agree with Gus and David. Now, we obviously were not in the dome, so we have no idea what the atmosphere was like.
Electric.
But we don't know. I mean, there's points in that game where it was almost dead silent on that court.
When your team shoots 1 for 11 from the 3 in the second half, I'd be silent too.
The crowd needs to be more. I agree. I think the crowd, look, they had a lot of people there, but it didn't seem like it was that loud.
I completely disagree.
I don't think it was that loud.
I thought off the top it was electric. I thought when Syracuse was on its
it was electric to start.
And then Syracuse goes down 7 points, 8 points with 4 minutes to go.
That's when you need the crowd the most.
And Duke comes down the court, the crowd's going nuts. The crowd was on its feet for that. I think it's completely and utterly idiotic to have that conversation about the crowd leaving with 1:20 to go. When this team didn't look like it was in the building for the final 10 minutes of the game.
Now, that's different, but I mean, we'll talk to Owen Valentine when he gets here. But from my perspective, watching the game on TV and listening to the game here on WAER on the radio, the crowd didn't seem like it was that loud. And I mean, when you have a 36,000 people crowd in a record crowd for college basketball, it didn't really sound like it. It looked like it. It didn't sound like it.
I'd like to save the decibel meter conversation for somebody who was actually at the Carrier Dome.
Of course.
There were 35,642 people.
Gus and David, I presume, were there. And if they're saying the crowd wasn't really that into it, we should take their...
even that the crowd wasn't into it. They're just saying that they left early. I don't fully comprehend that. But look, there were nearly 36,000 people there.
And now, a Z89 Sports Update.
What's up, Central New York? I'm Max Chadwick with your Z89 Sports Update. March Madness just got a lot less orange, which means the city of Syracuse is feeling a lot more blue. Syracuse clashed with Baylor last night in the round of 64, and the Orange fell to the Bears 78-69. Really, a lack of scoring options left the Cuse out to dry as the big three of Tyus Battle, Elijah Hughes, and O'Shea Brissett combined for 55 of SU's 69 points. Syracuse concludes the season with a 20-14 overall record. While one Syracuse basketball team lost in the round of 64, another looks to do the complete opposite. Tomorrow, the 3rd-seeded Orange women's team gets going in the NCAA tournament against 14th-seeded Fordham. Syracuse will have a home court advantage as the game will be played in the Carrier Dome. SU looks to survive and advance at 1 p.m. tomorrow, but our broadcast starts with Orange women's warm-up at 12:40 right here on the Central New York Sports Leader. Finally, let's switch over to the other SU sport we cover here at Z89, The 4th-ranked Syracuse women's lacrosse team has a massive game this weekend with the Orange facing number 12 Notre Dame at home. But is it really at home? Get this, because the women's hoops team is occupying the Dome this weekend, the women's lax team is forced to play its game at local high school Christian Brothers Academy. It'll be a homecoming for senior defender Alexa Radzowitz since she graduated from CBA in 2015. Opening draw is at noon, but tune in at 11:40 for Orange Women's Warm-Up here on 89.1 FM. Make sure to follow us on Twitter at Z89Sports to keep updated on all that's going on in Cuse and beyond. Max Chadwick, Z89 Sports.